Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Create, Collaborate, and Deliver with AI and Avid MediaCentral for News webinar. Just to introduce who we are, my name is Dalia Noor. I'm the Senior Manager for Market Solutions. I'm joined today by Régis André, Senior Director of Product Management, and Craig Wilson, Product Evangelist for Video and Media. Quickly, to look at the agenda today, we will have a short introduction, an overview of Avid News Solution and of MediaCentral and AI. We'll be having a live demonstration, Q&A answer session towards the end, and a summary. Just to remind you all, there is a Q&A button at the bottom. We invite you to ask questions. For all of you who are on social networks right now, please post your questions and we will get back to you with our response. Before we begin, I wanted to start with a short clip about our new solution.
You know the chaos of breaking news, the stress of coordinating multiple teams to cover a developing yet rapidly changing story, the fierce competition to be first with the facts, on air, online, and on social media. What if you had a solution that simplified all of this, enabling teams to connect and collaborate on stories from anywhere? A solution that makes it easy to plan, ingest, create, share, and publish content, whether you're on the scene, in the newsroom, or somewhere in between. With Avid's news solutions, you can do all of this and more. This powerful yet simple to use solution streamlines your entire workflow, from content planning and creation to distribution, so you can focus on simply telling your story. And you can include other team members in your plans from any part of your creative community to truly unify your teams around the story. Plan your coverage, delegate tasks, and enable all team members to sync up together in one place, wherever they are. Share media instantly with editors and graphic designers as new footage comes in for fast turnarounds. Find the media you need in seconds, including related and historical footage. Write scripts and prepare your story for presentation. Track new developments with integrated tools. Monitor social media and news wires. Add graphics and publish your story to all of your platforms. Minimize the chaos, maximize your coverage, and harness the power of the cloud. Take your newsroom to the next level with integrated news solutions and experience seamless collaborative media production on premises and in the cloud. For more information, visit avid.com/news.
I will now move to Régis André, who will give us a short explanation about Avid's news solution.
Thank you, Dalia. So we're going to take a quick look at the Avid News solution. As you know, we have thousands of customers worldwide using our solution, and our new solution is a very powerful end-to-end solution, including our MediaCentral newsroom management, formerly known as iNews for rundown-based shows. We're also introducing MediaCentral Collaborate, as you will see in a few minutes. And we're leveraging on MediaCentral production management, formerly known as Interplay, for the entire media workflow, such as ingest, editing, logging, viewing, and sending to playout servers. For digital distribution, our MediaCentral solution offers MediaCentral Publisher, which is an extremely powerful solution to distribute content directly to social media and CMS platform. And of course, we have end-to-end workflows, meaning we have servers for ingest and playout here in the name of Avid Stream.io. We are one of the biggest technology vendors in the news market. We're adding thousands of users every month to our solutions, and we're very excited to be able to show you more about what's coming soon. When it comes to news, our focus has been a lot on MediaCentral Collaborate. MediaCentral Collaborate is our next generation newsroom tool. It sits on top of iNews and enables a lot of capabilities for story planning, resource management, not necessarily tied to rundown. It enables you to schedule resources and stories for things like social media publication and other tasks as well. It has a very powerful web user interface in MediaCentral Cloud UX, as well as a dedicated MediaCentral Collaborate iOS application. It is definitely more than just a planning tool, and it's getting to a lot of improvement every release. Of course, when it comes to news, being able to be on air first is very important, but being able to be on social media first is even more important these days. For that, we are enabling this workflow with MediaCentral Publisher. MediaCentral Publisher is a very powerful solution built in inside the Avid MediaCentral solution that enables you to publish to social media using templates, inserting graphics, animated graphics, but also editing closed captioning and things like this. So that makes it very powerful, very efficient to publish content to your social media destination or your CMS first. But when it comes to news, what really we are going to focus on today is Avid Ada. We just announced Avid Ada at IBC 2023 in Amsterdam. It is our suite of artistic digital assistant tools and AI-driven solutions that are going to help our customers and our users to do their job in a much more efficient way. So we're going to take a quick look at how we are developing Avid Ada inside MediaCentral. AI is moving very, very fast. In order to stay on top of things, we developed a new methodology of working at Avid, including a new engineering teams, architecture teams, and product designers. This team is called the RAD Lab. It's a research and advanced development lab that enables us to stay on top of all the latest trends and technologies. And the process is quite simple. We do a lot of work around research and feasibility work. Then we are prototyping all this work, demonstrating to customers, getting feedback, and then we move these into production. Because AI is going so fast, we want to be able to deliver new capabilities on a regular basis outside of the regular cadence release of the products. So you'll see a lot of improvement coming to our different AI solution within the Avid ecosystem, thanks to Avid Ada and the new processes that we put in place. When it comes to news, a lot of our customers have what we call metadata, and for users still to find what they really need. How many times this shot of the White House has been used? Is a shot of this president or that other president is available, maybe outside the building or during a night shot or doing an interview. All those things are hard to find, even if you have a lot of metadata, whether they're generated by people or by AI. This is where semantic analysis comes in. Avid has developed a lot of capabilities in terms of being able to embed semantic indexes to images. So we can do text to images search. We can also look at all the different relationships between different types of metadata using knowledge graphs. This creates really a solution that enables users to find the right content at the right time in a much more easy way than what we've used to be able to do with basic searches capabilities. So how do we expose those capabilities inside the user interface? It starts with Avid Ada, the chatbot. We included now a chatbot in MediaCentral that knows everything about our documentation, our knowledge base, article, and help guides. So you can ask Ada how to do things in our products, whether it's MediaCentral or Media Composer, for instance. But then the next step is to take all that power of Avid Ada and expose it in different tools and applications within MediaCentral, such as here in MediaCentral Collaborate. In MediaCentral Collaborate, users can write their script. And as a producer, you're writing your script, then you can ask Avid Ada recommendation engine to stay on the side and shows media related to the text that you're searching for. This index of semantic images really is powerful. So as you type in your text in any language that you choose so, Ada can then recommend clips that really match the content of what you're typing. The more you type, the more the recommendation will be precise. Let's assume now you find, for instance, an interview shot that you've been looking for to add with your text. You can also ask Ada to do a summary of that interview, so you don't have to listen to the entire interview to know it's the right one. Once you find this clip and that you check the summary of the interview, you can then see the transcript of that interview as well and use that transcript to edit directly inside the timeline. This is a great demonstration of how we leverage different types of AI technologies together to create a seamless user experience that makes it easier to do your job. When it comes to AI, Avid is taking a stance to make sure that we're doing what we call responsible AI. As you can see on this diagram, a lot of different actions have been taken by Avid to make sure that your data are safe, secure, not shared with anyone, not used for training. They are your data, your media, your metadata. We also want to make sure that we are leveraging AI as an assistant, or what we call a co-pilot, instead of trying to get AI to take over the different jobs. So look at this slide, do some research around responsible AI. This is something very important. Now we're going to turn this over to Craig, who's going to demonstrate some of the new capabilities we showed at IBC.
Great, thanks a lot, Regis. I'm just going to share my screen and we'll begin to have a look at things. So hi, everybody. My name is Craig Wilson. I am the product evangelist for video and media at Avid. And what we're going to take a look at for the next few minutes is some of those technical previews that Regis mentioned that was shown recently at the IBC trade show, and really showing some of the developments we have around AI and how we see AI being able to help journalists, editors in performing their tasks. So I'm going to do this in MediaCentral Cloud UX, which is a browser-based tool. If you haven't seen it before, it has a number of apps along the top that allow you to do a whole range of different workflows, whether you're writing a story for broadcast, whether you are publishing a story to digital media, whether you're doing research, sharing content as well. And what we're looking at here is the app that Regis referred to earlier on called MediaCentral Collaborate. And this is a story-centric tool really for planning, for content sharing, project tracking. You can see here, I'm starting off looking in a calendar view where I can see all of my assignments across this week. But to start with, let's have a quick look at what Avid Ada can offer me. And as Regis mentioned, one of the applications we have of Ada is that we have a chatbot. So here inside MediaCentral Cloud UX, I have a little chatbot icon at the top here, and I can bring up Avid Ada. So I can go in and I can begin to have a conversation. So we'll say hi to Ada and see how she's doing today. So she pops back and says, how can I assist you today? So Ada has access to all of the help documentation we have around MediaCentral Cloud UX, and also all of the articles that we have inside of the Avid knowledge base. Now, if you haven't heard of the Avid knowledge base before, it's a fantastic resource where you can get help and advice and lots of documentation about the full range of Avid products. So it's worth checking it out. So I'm going to ask Ada how to do something here in MediaCentral. So how do I create a story in the Rundown app? So what Ada is doing at the moment is essentially sort of scanning through all of that documentation, all of that information that's in the knowledge base to come back with an answer. Now, of course, inside of MediaCentral Cloud UX, there is a traditional help that you can access through there anyway. There's also video tutorials and things like that as well. But what Ada does here is you can see it's providing me a step-by-step guide for how to perform this actual task. Now, as well as providing this to me, she does also provide the ability to link to that documentation. So you can link directly to the part of the help documentation, which will walk you through creating a story, and also some more information about working with the Rundown app itself. So that's Ada as the chatbot inside of MediaCentral Cloud UX, where you go in, ask questions, and then come back with answers. And again, going back to one of the things that Regis mentioned about this co-pilot concept, we see this very much as the AI assisting, the journalists, the producers, the researchers, the whole range of people who are working with MediaCentral Cloud UX by being able to ask them information and then get that information back in an easy way. But the next thing we want to show you is a little bit more about that recommendation and summary and transcription engine that Regis mentioned. So I'm just going to go into one of my assignments here in MediaCentral Collaborate. So again, if you haven't seen Collaborate before, this allows me to share content. You can see here I've got a whole range of video content. I've got notes, I've got web links, I've got stories from my rundown. I can gather everything together so the whole team that's working on this particular story can see everything. I can also have my tasks down here at the right-hand side. So you can task different users to perform different tasks, and you can then track their progress as well. It's a very, very cool application. You really should check it out. It's a big, big area of focus for us. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a note. Now, one of the things about these notes is that these notes are, they can be used by multiple people. So I'm just going to call this one the Craig webinar note. So for example, multiple people could work in this note at the same time. So it's a really great collaborative sharing space where lots of different people could come in and it could contribute to, a particular story if they wanted to. But within the note, you see I have this little robot icon here, and I'm just going to enable this. And this is the Ada recommendation engine. So what does this actually mean? So Regis talked a little bit before about the use of semantic technologies and how we're actually being able to do that. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm going to begin to type in some text, And so, for example, this could be me writing text for a story, for example, that I'm working on. And I'm going to do a story about my colleague Claudia. And Claudia has done a series of videos called MediaCentral Moments. Now, again, if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're on YouTube. Really useful bits of information about the capabilities of, MediaCentral itself. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to type in that Claudia Roth is the presenter of MediaCentral Moments. Now, as I'm typing, you can see at the right-hand side, Ada is beginning to make some recommendations to me. So as I'm typing here, I can now begin to see there's a bunch of clips. Now, this is Claudia here. And if I double-click on the clip, that's going to open up in our video player here. And I can see, here is Claudia. Now, this clip is about 1:45 long. I can, of course, play it back and I could hear what Claudia is saying. But I don't really have time to do that. And really what I want to get is a quick summary of what Claudia is saying. So you see here beside the clip, there is a little brain icon. And I can click on that. And what this is doing is it's automatically generating a summary for me. So it's analyzing the text, it's creating a transcript, and from that transcript, it's then generating a summary of what she is talking about in this clip. Now, I have some different options here. I can do a small summary, a medium summary, a more comprehensive summary. But the other thing I can also do is I can get that summary in multiple different languages. Now, again, this is a tech preview of what we have. So here we have just a small subset of the languages that could be supported. But for example, if I say I want to see this in German, it will then go away and it will take the summary and it will translate that into German as well. The other thing I can also do is I can view a transcript for the clip. So here is the transcript for the clip itself. And you can see it has time-coded metadata for when Claudia is saying these particular words. So the system has automatically generated this for me. But the other thing I can also do is I can choose to store these as markers. So when I click on the button to store as markers, it stores them as markers. If I go across now to my storyboard pane here, and I just refresh my view of my audio track 1, there the markers have all been added. You can see the markers being added here to the tracks. And of course, I can then use these markers. But more than this, let's imagine that this interview wasn't actually in English, that it was being done in another language. Well, I'd be able to translate it. So let's say I want to translate this into Spanish. So again, the system is now going to go away. It's going to take these the Spanish translation, but I can also store these as markers as well. Because what this will do is it can store them as different colored markers. So you can see here that the black markers are in English, the yellow markers are in Spanish, and of course here in MediaCentral Cloud UX, I could filter my markers. So for example, here, I'm just seeing the markers that are in Spanish. If I go back to the filter, I could say, okay, show me the ones in black as well. And I can then bring up the other ones. So that's a way where I can use Ada to generate the summary and also create the transcript. But the other thing about the transcript is in MediaCentral Cloud UX, I also have editing capabilities. So I'm going to bring up the timeline. I'll just pop these boxes up here for a second. And now what I can do, if I want this part of the clip, I can just drag and drop it directly into the timeline itself. Okay. So in the MediaCentral timeline, when I drag and drop it here, you can see it adds the clip in. Now, of course, I can expand the clip, I can, move it around and reposition it, but as a very quick way of doing, text-based editing, I can just take that marker with all the transcription information and drag that directly into the timeline to then carry on and edit. Now, of course, from here, what I'd be able to do is take this sequence, transfer it to a playout server and play it out through the studio, but also take this sequence and play it out and transfer it to MediaCentral Publisher to then go and publish directly to social media as well. So it really is about adding in not just different elements here. It is about providing full end-to-end workflow where I can do some not even searching. I'm just typing text. The system offers me suggestions. I can review the content. I can add transcriptions. I can edit, and then I can transfer out as well. But that's not the only thing. I'm just going to close this up for a little second. And I'm going to close up the summary engine, because the other thing I also wanted to mention is something that Regis talked about in a little bit of detail before, about the fact that we're using semantic technologies here. Okay, so there's no metadata actually involved here with this clip to highlight that Claudia is the presenter of MediaCentral Moments. The system is simply analyzing what I'm typing and then offering me suggestions based on that. If I look at the B-roll side, what this also then looks at, it's now generating other sentences which are related to what I've been typing. So it sees the word presenter, for example, and it begins to then offer me shots of a studio, for example, because it begins to recognize, what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to go back and show you just some other examples of really what we mean. And this is the real power that we think there is within, these kind of semantic technologies, because I'm just going to type in the words blue sea with fish. And what you see is that, again, the system is going away, it's analyzing what I'm typing, and it's coming back with shots of a blue sea and shots of a blue sea with fish. And again, there is no metadata in these clips to highlight that. It's simply analyzing what I'm typing, and it's then coming back with suggestions. I can give you another example here. So I'm going to talk about the coastline of Cyprus is full. It's full of shipwrecks. And again, as I'm typing, it's coming back and it's offering me suggestions of there. You can see it's obviously the coastline of Cyprus, but again, here, there are shots of shipwrecks, which are part of that as well. And again, I want to really emphasize this point that there's no metadata involved in this. This is semantic analysis that's going on of the images that we have here as well. So we really think this is really, really powerful. We got a great reception when it was shown at IBC from customers, shown as a tech preview. So obviously we're continuing to work on this and looking to develop it further. So hopefully that's been useful for the demo. I would mention a couple of other things that within MediaCentral, we have had some AI services for some time around things like phonetic searching, where you can do searches based on audio. And then in our asset management products, the ability of integrating with Microsoft Azure Analytics and now AWS Analytics to do things like facial recognition, speech to text, optical character recognition as well. So there's a whole range of AI developments going on at Avid, particularly now with the new Avid Ada. We're very excited about them. And hopefully you're excited about what we've shown you today as well. But for now, I'm going to hand you back to Dalia I think, Dalia, we've got a bit of a Q&A.
Thank you, Craig. Regis and Craig, we have a couple of questions that came in. I was hoping that you can help with. So we've seen here what's happening with MediaCentral. What is being done with AI in Media Composer? And perhaps, Craig, if you can take that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I think one of the things that the team have been doing is really building a framework around AI so that all of the various different products within the Avid portfolio can take advantage of them, not just MediaCentral, but Media Composer and also Pro Tools as well. So in the latest release of Media Composer, which is the 2023.8 release, there is ScriptSync AI and PhraseFind AI. Now, we've had ScriptSync and PhraseFind in Media Composer for some time. Now, if you don't really know, PhraseFind is that phonetic searching where you can search on words, and ScriptSync was a way of linking a script from a show to sort of the editorial footage that was done. It was a fairly manual process to do that. With ScriptSync AI now, what you can do is you can actually generate a transcript directly from the clip itself. Directly inside Media Composer, and you can then use that to do that sort of text-based editing, similar to what I showed in MediaCentral, where you can take a chunk of the text and take that clip into the timeline itself. Also, in PhraseFind, you get more information that's been shown there as well. So that's in the product already and is already available. But again, as a tech preview at the IBC show, we're also looking at things like taking that transcript and perhaps creating from that a subcap file and then importing that as subcap so you have subtitles. Again, looking to take advantage of automated translation. And the other thing about the ScriptSync AI I should mention is it does recognize different languages. So if you have a clip that perhaps is in French and in English and in Spanish, it will automatically generate the text in that native language as well. So there's a huge amount of work going on, as I say, across the whole Avid portfolio, not just in MediaCentral, but in Media Composer as well. It's a very, very exciting time.
Great, thank you, Craig. So another question I have here is, how big of a focus is AI for Avid? And perhaps Régis, if you can take that one.
Yes, thank you, Dalia. So how big is the focus for us? Of course, it's pretty large. It's a very large focus. Of course, AI has really changed the game over the last few months, and we can see the progress and how the technology is really adding in more and more capabilities on a daily basis. So for us, really, we have dedicated teams, we have dedicated people really looking at all the advancements, and really, like I said earlier in the presentation, we're really working through these research and development labs where we can really try things and proof of concept and test different capabilities before we go ahead and decide to productize them. So it's a very large focus for us. And as Craig mentioned, it's really across all the portfolio, starting from Sibelius, Pro Tools, Media Composer, and MediaCentral. And now we're going to start looking at video servers as well.
Fantastic. And when will we see this in the products for real? When will they really be available, Régis?
That's the $1 million questions. We are going to really look at the feedback we got from IBC, because we demonstrated a lot of different POCs and different concepts to our customers. We got a lot of tremendous feedback. Now the work we're doing is going through the different feedback and feature requests that we had during IBC and coming up with a plan. The team is already starting to look at prioritizing some of the recommendation work that we talked about. I'm expecting to see some deliverable next year. When exactly, it's a bit early to say, but really we want to go fast, and we want to be able to deliver as much as we can on a regular basis, basically, to our customers.
Thank you. And one last question here. So what's the view on how AI can assist journalists? And perhaps Craig, as a former journalist, you can take that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the co-pilot concept that Régis spoke about earlier, I think is a sort of critical one here. We still see very much that it is the journalist that is in charge of what they're doing, but AI can assist them. And we've seen, the use of AI in journalism more widely about analyzing massive data sets and extracting information, from them, and really trying to take advantage of some AI applications that have been done for quite a long time in things like financial services or, the healthcare industry, as well. But I think it's about changing some of the paradigms. If you think before about how you would find content, you would actively go to your search somewhere and type in some search, and that would normally be based on metadata that perhaps has been manually added. It could be something that's been AI enriched, but basically that's what you're having to do. Whereas we see things changing fundamentally with the use of things like semantic technologies and knowledge graphs that Régis really spoke about. If you can just be typing your story, and as you're typing the story, the system is automatically offering you, related footage to that, and B-roll footage, as we talked about there, where it's analyzing what you're writing and it's offering other suggestions as well. That could really be a game changer in how quickly it's assisting journalists to do things. But fundamentally, the journalist is still the one that's in charge and is in control. In the same way in the edit suite and Media Composer, it would still be the editor that's making those final decisions. We've done an episode of the podcast, for example, where Jean McKeon from ABC News in Australia, and the podcast is the Making the Media podcast, if you haven't heard of it, she talks about the human in the loop and the importance of having that. And I think that's one of the principles around responsible AI, again, that Régis referred to earlier on, that's so critical for what we're doing. So it's very much about assisting editorial teams. If we can help them work quicker, deliver more content to more platforms, then we see that as a major advantage. But fundamentally, it's still the journalist, the editor, the producer, who's the one that's actually making the final decision about any of the content they create.
Thank you, Craig. Let's jump back quickly to our presentation, just to discuss a little summary of what we've discussed today. So first of all, Avid is one of the biggest technology vendors in the news market and is investing in AI. And we've been enabling customers to streamline their news workflow with a secure, open, all-in-one platform. And thousands of customers worldwide have been using Avid solutions for news. And lastly, Avid News Solution delivers real-time collaboration for teams with advanced media production capabilities, regardless of your location. All right, so if you want to find out a little bit more about our MediaCentral solution, as well as our other solutions, we invite you to go to our website. There's a lot of great information there. I have here on the bottom the link, www.avid.com/MediaCentral. In addition, we have a QR code that you're welcome to scan if you're on social, or even if you're not, to get directly to that information. And lastly, we wanted to thank you for joining us. Thank you to Regis, thank you to Craig for participating in this webinar, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thank you very much.